On the Face of It by Susan Hill. This is there in class 12 CBSE English Literature. The first question. In what sense is the friendship between Mr. Lamb and Derry fruitful? Answer. Mr. Lamb is optimistic whereas Derry is pessimistic and has a complex. Mr. Lamb helps Derry to overcome his inferiority complex and told him not to pay any attention to others' thought and cruel comments. He advised him to love his own life and appreciate nature. Thus, Mr. Lamb brings about a positive change in Derry. Question number 2. Why did Mr. Lamb help Derry? Mr. Lamb and Derry both were handicapped, so out of empathy, Mr. Lamb agreed to help Derry. He helped him out of his self-pitying habit. Question number 3. Who was Derry? What did he suffer from? Derry was a young boy who came to Mr. Lamb's garden. Derry was a victim of acid attack. One part of his face was burnt down with acid. Question number 4. How did Mr. Lamb keep himself busy when it is bit cool? Answer. Mr. Lamb kept himself busy when it is bit cool by getting himself a ladder and a stick to pull down crab apples and make jelly out of it. Question number 5. What peculiar things did Derry notice about the old man Lamb? Answer. Derry found Mr. Lamb to be peculiar. He did not understand any of Mr. Lamb's question. Mr. Lamb advised him to keep his ears shut for people who passed on cruel comments. He also told Derry a story of a man who locked himself up in a room, but a picture frame fell upon him and he died. Question number 7. What console did people give Derry when they saw his burnt face? People used to tell Derry to look at those people who were in pain, but never cry or complain about their lives. There were many people who were worse than Derry. Either they were blind, dumb, paralyzed, or crazy. Thus people consoled him not to worry about his face. Question number 8. Why does Derry tell Mr. Lamb he is afraid of seeing himself in the mirror in the story On the Face of It? Derry's face is burnt with acid. People are afraid to look at him, as they find it too terrible and ugly to look at. Even Derry himself afraid when he looks into the mirror. Question number 9. Brief the story of the man who hid himself into a room. What happened to him? Answer. Mr. Lamb reminds Derry that he can't lock himself in a room and stay there. He narrates a story of a man who set himself apart from the outside world and locked himself up in a room. Unfortunately, a picture fell over his head and he died. Mr. Lamb told Derry to accept life as it is. Mr. Lamb believed in destiny and believed that whatever has happened has to happen. No one can change his or her destiny. What qualities of Mr. Lamb attracted Derry? Answer. Derry is a young boy who suffers from inferiority complex due to his burnt face. He goes to Mr. Lamb's garden to mitigate his loneliness and meets Mr. Lamb, who is a social person and keeps his gate open for everyone. He has a thin leg and people often mock him Lemmy Lamb, but he does not pay any attention to it. Derry was impressed by Mr. Lamb's persona and hence started thinking on a positive note and was able to overcome his insecurities.